All right. That's hot, which means that's hot, and that's hot. We're late, Mace.
It's all hot. It's also hot in Denver.
Your phone overheated today.
I mean, yeah, I know. We got to 89 degrees in Denver today, and the sun was shining on the phone. Tied for the hottest October temperature in 132 years in Denver.
Okay. There we go.
How about that? This is unusual.
But
it's hot on the field.
Show?
Yes, it's hot on the field. It's hot in Colorado. And your Denver Broncos, having won 2 in a row, are hot, hot, hot.
That's right. It's a great way to start the show. It is orange and blue today. Cecil, Lammey, Andrew Mason. And yeah, the Broncos had open locker room an hour later. That moved the show back an hour, Mace. But we're here. We made it through the heat, through the locker room, and through practice where you had a special person helping you take attendance.
Alex Singleton.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool.
Playfully reminded me that number 49 wasn't out there, and that was the most important thing.
Right. You won't see 49 out there. Right.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, saw him last week as well in West Virginia. He's in good spirits, but man, I mean, what a tough break for him. He was having what looked to be a great start to the season, team captain, contract year, and now the train's going to keep on going down the tracks without him, and we'll see what happens when it comes decision time in the offseason, whether he's back or not. But it's good to still see him around, and it's the sort of him still hanging around and being an everyday part of the Broncos is one of those things that maybe you think about come time to start talking contract and maybe bring him back.
Yeah, you find a way to make it happen. We're going to make it happen today with a mere question about style points because you're facing a Raiders team that is down. We're going to get it all of that on the both sides of the ball, but you're facing a Raiders defense that is soft against the run and they're soft against the pass. So can Bo Nix have a bounce back game, and do style points matter? Now the Jets, they won. That's all that matters. We're not going to belabor that, but a down Raiders team at home, I'm going to say like 24 points. I hope it's more, Mace, but I think style points do matter if you do win against the Raiders.
It's a Raiders team that was without 10 players today. The Broncos only had one player on the 53-man roster not practicing today. That was Tyler Bidet. Raiders had 10 players not practicing, including Max Crosby there on the edge. And not having Crosby potentially for this game makes life a lot easier for Bo Nix. This could be the get-right game for Bo Nix. And it's good to have it this time because the challenge goes back up again when you take on the Chargers and you take on the Saints and do so with 2 games there in a 5-day stretch. So it's going to ramp up again quickly. This is a chance maybe for Bo Nix to get his footing under him, get settled, because it's still not all there for him. We say the truth, speak the truth, whatever, on this show. I mean, like we talked about yesterday, the touchdown pass they had, it's good to get him off the schneid, get him his first NFL touchdown pass, but it wasn't a good pass.
Right.
But he had some other good ones. Yeah, he had a couple of other nice throws to Courtland Sutton. So you look at those as a positive. And also you heard this from Adam Troutman, you heard this from Sean Payton today. The weather really did have an impact. It had an impact on Aaron Rodgers too. Aaron Rodgers missed some throws that you're like, man, whoa, what was that?
Right. What's going on? And what's going on with this offense? I think this is the week you can get it right. Now, Mace, I do have to ask you, we're both veterans of the game. And I kind of roll my eyes when I hear this, but I want to get your take because we've never actually talked about it. So Max Crosby said today he feels like he's gonna play. And anytime a player says that, I just it is Wednesday, but it's like, okay, players are always like that.
players are determined to play, generally speaking. I say generally speaking because there is some debate over whether Davante Adams really wants to play this game. And of course, he wasn't out there today for the Raiders with a hamstring injury. You know, you're seeing all the memes out there already on social media.
What's
about
your favorite
how
one? The Willy Wonka one's my favorite one, where it's like he's all gimping, and then like Gene Wilder, he flips up as soon as he's traded. Hamstring's fine.
Yep, that's the one I saw. That's the one I was thinking of.
Okay, good.
Like he's going to get to the Jets or the Saints. I think most people expect it's going to be the Jets. The Saints, I think, would be interested. It would require a feat of extreme cap intrepidity for a team that has already $97 million over the projected 2025 cap to pull it off. But basically, Davante wants, in all likelihood, Davante wants familiarity. The familiarity is his old buddy, Derek Carr, played with him with the Raiders. Also, they go back to the Fresno State days a decade ago. And then, obviously, Aaron Rodgers now with the New York Jets. He'll end up in one of those two spots, I would guess. I don't think he's going to end up in Kansas City. Nightmare fuel, but I don't think he's going to be a Chief.
The Steelers want him, and I've heard the Cowboys want him, although some have poo-pooed that, but whatever. I talked to my people, and, you know, that's what I think. But let's set up this Payton thing, because I was playing it before the show, before you and I jumped on. Set that up for me, because Sean Payton talked about it and talking about player status when it comes to Davante Adams.
Of course, he had a story, and of course, the story was from New Orleans. And it did involve a player that y'all know well, and that's DeMarcus Ware when he was with the Dallas Cowboys. But he talked about how they were getting ready for a game. It was when they were undefeated in 2009, although he got the year wrong when he said it. He said 2013. But it was 2009. They're playing Dallas on a Saturday. And there was some question, is DeMarcus Ware going to play? It looks like he's not going to play. And then DeMarcus Ware played. He had a couple of forced fumbles, couple of sacks, and the Saints fell from the ranks of the unbeaten after their 13-0 start. But here's Sean Payton on that.
Learned a lesson in 2013. I probably told you, DeMarcus Ware didn't practice Wednesday, didn't practice Thursday. We did our third down plan. There wasn't – we were 13-0 at this time, and there wasn't the proper attention given to if he would play. And then here it is Saturday night. He's running through the tunnel. Sack, fumble, 3 other sacks. And that same year then in the Super Bowl, Freeney was questionable. And so we're preparing for both those. You know, we're preparing for the starters. And it was just a tough coaching lesson learned back in 2013.
You got to learn. And the thing is, it's easier to adapt to a backup because backups are backups for reasons. Okay. It's easier to say, oh, let's prepare for the understudy. Let's adapt when the understudy is out there. You don't want to be caught unprepared expecting it's going to be the understudy and then the starter goes out there. Like if you go, I think probably a better example than Davante Adams for this game. Like you mentioned, Max Crosby, maybe he's more determined to play in this game. And that's where maybe you get your October Sunday surprise is seeing Max Crosby out there potentially.
Yeah, you've got to prepare for it. The Broncos are doing that, and they're so soft. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Mace, they're 30th against the run. So how can you help Bo? How can Bo bounce back? You set up some play action passing opportunities. You set things up that, you know, they can't stop the run. You run it down their throat, and then Bo would be able to take the secondary apart with a couple of fourth-round picks as their starting corners. I think Court could have a large game. We'll bring up Devon Vele maybe on a later show, Mace, but like I think there's a chance for the passing game to get going, but it starts with the run and with Javonte.
It may be the old school thing of the run to set up the pass. We saw in Tampa the pass set up the run. The Broncos choosing to ambush the Bucs because they had a compromised pass rush and they were compromised on the back end without Antoine Winfield Jr. So they want to take advantage of that. Now, the Raiders have a compromised pass rush potentially if Max Crosby isn't out there. But this is a run defense that's giving up 5.1 yards per carry so far this season. Now, they've allowed fewer total rushing yards week by week going through the season from week 1 to week 4. They've gone from 176 to 151 to 131 to 92. And the average per carry allowed has gone from 6.5 against the Chargers back in week 1 to 4.2 each of the last couple weeks against Carolina and Cleveland. So they are trending in the right direction, but they're not great on the ground. This is an opportunity for the Broncos to build off the momentum that Javonte Williams and Jaleel McLaughlin managed to sustain on Sunday.
Yeah, we talked to Adam Troutman, had to ask him about Javonte and getting it going. Here's what the veteran tight end said.
Yeah, it felt great. Obviously he had a great preseason and everything, and we've been trying to get him going, and he's a great back. We have a lot of confidence in him. He just needed that little spark, and obviously you hope that this carries, and I have no doubts that it will.
Well, you can't start a fire without a spark. This gun's for hire, even if we're just dancing in the dark.
Right. Jonah Ellis dancing in that towel. You always got to be careful. You're the camera guy. I'm the mic guy. Around Troutman's locker, got to be careful.
The curtains they put in several years ago by the entrance to the showers, really smart. And the players are pretty mindful. Towel up and then go through the curtains. But those curtains really help because, that could have been an issue. It's something you're always mindful of.
Yes.
There's a
first rodeo, Mace.
Well, there's an old incident from Broncos history. It was after a playoff game. I believe it was after the drive 2 in 1992. And Vance Johnson was in the background of an NFL film shot in the locker room right after the game. And they showed, the team celebrating, Dan Reeves speaking after the win. And right in the background, Vance Johnson was there naked, frontal. And it was not pixelized when it went on Inside the NFL on HBO a few days later. Now, it was HBO, but HBO didn't put they didn't put a warning on Inside the NFL, and certainly the NFL would not have wanted a player's junk to be out there. And Vance Johnson actually filed a lawsuit over this.
Wow!
Yes,
holy cow!
And I believe he won the lawsuit, as he should have. Right.
All right. Well,
always be mindful and always be careful.
Always be careful. That's what we're doing on this show. Be mindful of running the ball. Be mindful of getting Bo going. Sean Payton talked about Bo Nix passing. You want to set that up, Mace? You want me to just play it? How Nix is throwing it.
How he's throwing it the first 4 games. Let's listen to what Sean had to say.
He's very accurate. And so, someone's getting covered and it's low and away. It's a good ball, not a strike versus a good hitter. He's real sharp with his location. And I would say that's something that's been pretty consistent, long before he arrived here. But he's doing a good job getting through his progressions, where he's going. I like what I've seen.
Let's look at those early throws against Tampa Bay. Those are 2 good examples of him being pinpoint with the location outside to Courtland Sutton and then over the shoulder to Josh Reynolds, leading him perfectly for a big gain there. So those are the moments, for example, where you see the location. That's great. But then we talked about the Courtland Sutton touchdown where Court has to make that adjustment when he's wide open. Now, the space that he had, the window that he had, you've got room to play with a little bit, but it's not necessarily something you want to do. But at the same time, he had a couple of other strikes to Courtland Sutton that were on the money. So it's not always going to be there. It's not always going to be pinpoint. But I think what we're seeing more and more compared to the first week or two, we're seeing those higher level throws start to dot his work.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I think, could be the game where we really see it go to another level and really get a glimpse into the future, a glimpse into maybe where Bo Nix is against most teams a year from now.
That throw to court on the in-breaking route.
Mm-hmm.
It's as pro of a pro flip and throw as you could get. Not every throw was great. He was shot putting stuff, looked bad, like he'd never seen a raindrop. But that throw to Sutton was as pro can be, Mason. Only in 4 games, and maybe these names aren't the names I should use, but we're going to seek the truth and speak the truth. The whole year of Bryce Young, he never looked like Bo's looked in these 4 games. The whole year of Trevor Lawrence, he never looked like Bo's looked in these 4 games. Even the bad game against the Jets.
Trevor Lawrence is much more reassuring there than Bryce Young.
Although if you're honest. A Panthers quarterback, hey, look at Darnold balling out. Look at Mayfield, right? Get away from Carolina, and maybe you could ball out like those guys.
It's what happens when your logo is a black cat, man. I mean,
okay, all right.
There's some, and I say this having worked there for a couple of years, man. There's some weirdness to that franchise, and there has been since day one. And sometimes it's weird, like awful tragedy weird. Ray Caruth.
Yeah.
The late Fred Lane, who was, he was an interesting character. And then, he actually was literally shot and killed. But there's also like in his life, there's like a funny story, like when he was late for a team flight, and somehow, this is pre 9/11, somehow he gets on the tarmac as the plane is starting to get going, and he's running down the tarmac trying to catch as if it's like a train, and he's going to jump on. And then some of his teammates look out the charter and they see him and they start going, Freddie.
Nice. I like that story, man.
Anyway. But yeah, there are glimpses. What you're hoping is that there are more glimpses. And that's why, like, I think let's just take kind of those first 4 games as a collective and look at the general arc of where he's going. He had, of course, he had the interceptions in the first 2 games. He hasn't been picked off since. He had, he's had 2 games with no sacks, no interceptions. Broncos have won both. It's not a coincidence. Not at all. There's the cliche about learning how to win. I've had coaches tell me the first step to learning how to win in this league is learning how not to lose. And for a quarterback, learning how not to lose means learning how to not make the mistakes that sink your team. And so that's why I look at the no sacks, no picks in consecutive games as something that is a first step to Bo Nix going where he wants to go, figuring out how not to lose a game. And then as he learns how to read defenses better, how to dissect things better, plays at the speed of the NFL more, then I think you're going to see it graduate from, okay, I know how to avoid losing, to I'm going to start making the plays that help this team win.
Yep.
And that's why, that's why you have to let this play out and not hit the panic button after 2 games, right?
I don't want to hear the name Zach Wilson at all. I don't want to hear it. Like that, yeah. It's just going to be Bo. And here's the thing about the defense. So much to get into here, Mace. Because when the defense struggles, and there will be a game or 2 where they struggle, I promise I won't lose my mind because of the way that they've played. But there will be a time when Bo has to win the game. He's got to go through these games like the Jets game, like the Buccaneers game. He's got to learn so that when the defense is struggling, Bo can say, I got you. We talked to Coop today about the connectivity. It's not just defensively. This whole team flipping loves each other, dude.
It's a lot of guys having shared moments.
Mm-hmm. It's like we do on the road, in the locker room. Shared moments.
It's a one for all locker room. Give Sean Payton credit. It only took him a year to get there.
Yeah.
To turn it over and get his kind of guys, his kind of team.
He had to get rid of some guys, though. Some not really by choice, like a Lloyd, right? And everyone would love to keep Justin around, whatever. He had to get rid of Russ.
And, we can debate the Justin Simmons move. Broncos are doing okay at safety right now. PJ Locke and Brandon Jones looking really good. Brandon Jones looking exceptional so far this season.
Doing stuff that he didn't do with the Dolphins. So I want to bring up a conversation, and perhaps I should save it for a different show, but we got a lot to get to, including a jersey show for Friday. We're going to get you guys hooked up with a special throwback jersey show on Friday.
By the way, if you are going to the game,
oh my God,
make sure you get there early. The first 25,000 fans inside Empower Field at Mile High will get this belt buckle with the old logo. And I even love the box. Like, you've got the old word mark on this.
Yes.
They gave these out to the media today, but look at that. Like, the logo, the word mark, and then a little thing on the back. First 25,000 fans through the gates will receive a vintage Broncos belt buckle courtesy of ENT Credit Union.
Thank you, and Credit Union.
Yeah. Pays homage to the iconic Orange Crush defense. Dude, a belt buckle with that own logo. It's got Cecil Lammey written all over it, man.
I'm not wear mine.
I'm not a belt buckle guy, but I will definitely keep this. I'll treasure this.
Well, I'll tell the story. I had to ask Garrett Schubert. I was like, because when I learned that the media got the belt buckles at practice, and I don't attend practice because I'm on the air. Humble brag. But I was like, please, Eric, I don't ask for much. Please give me a belt buckle. So I'm going to get mine tomorrow. I'm going to wear it. I'm going to wear my cowboy boots tomorrow. I'm going to take off my belt in front of everybody, and I'm just going to put my new belt buckle on. That is so flipping cool. And it's cool to have that. Yeah, man. You'll keep yours in the box. Like, that's a good display piece, right?
Yeah. I mean, I might even like put some adhesive on the back and maybe put it up right here or, right there.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
It's been good. So we picked up some good stuff this year. We got the new helmet, the new mini helmet here. Although I may go out and buy. I think I'm gonna go buy the D mini helmet as well. But yeah, it's got the little triangle. You can barely see it on a mini helmet, but the triangles are there.
Triangles are there, right? Well, let's hit them with something that you and I discussed in the locker room before we tie up today's show. And that is merely this. Sean Payton, an offensive coach, is coaching a defensive team. We have seen this before, Mace.
Brian Billick.
Yeah, baby.
Baltimore. All-time defense, Super Bowl 35. It wasn't the way he probably drew it up, but got a big ring on his finger. Works the other way as well. Tony Dungy, defensive coach, had Peyton Manning as his quarterback, rode him to a Super Bowl with the Colts back in the 2006 season. Of course, having a good defensive coach like Dungy helped because it maximized a dude like Bob Sanders, who who was the best defensive player in football for a very brief moment there in the mid-2000s.
Just couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah, that dude, man. Oh, boy. It was
everywhere.
5'8", and he was everywhere, man. Like, just a tiny terror.
Throwing his body around. No regard for his personal safety at all.
But yeah, it's what a good football coach does is adapt and adjust to the identity of the team. The identity of this team, probably for this year at least, is going to look a lot more like a typical team of one of Sean Payton's mentors, talking, of course, about Bill Parcells. Defense, run game, stop the run, get just enough from the passing game. It's not going to be fancy. I put a stat out there today. It's been 17 games since the Broncos broke 30 points. Last time they did that was at Chicago in week 4 last year. And it took a defensive touchdown to help the Broncos get there, of course. So maybe the Raiders game represents a good opportunity to snap that streak. If not, we may be looking at this team getting well into November without 30 points. But it doesn't mean they can't be successful. The success algorithm for this team is going to be something different than Sean Payton had for almost all of his time in New Orleans when he had Drew Brees at his disposal. They have to win a different way.
I will make a guess, Mace, but he doesn't care. He wants to win.
Oh no.
He wants to win.
He wants to win, and then he wants to develop Bo Nix. What's going on here is if you get the running game, more games from Jaleel McLaughlin and Javonte Williams and the run blocking that look like Sundays against the Jets. You get that going, and yeah, the defense is going to have some shaky days, but if they stay at a relatively high level for this year, while you're getting Bo Nix the experience and getting him up to speed, and he's making mistakes as he learns, it's just part and parcel of this, you can be successful working around that. Because here's the other thing. Rarely do defenses stay top level anymore. Like what's your window for having a great defense? 2 years?
I'd say 3. You like ramp
maybe
up,
3,
and then there's a little leftover, right? It's happened with Seattle. It happened with Denver in 2015.
Yes.
It happened with the Bears. No one talks about the 86 Bears. No one talks about the 84 Bears. They were really good defensively. What about the Bucs, when the Bucs were good defensively?
They had a run from about 97 to 02.
Okay.
But there were, 98, the defense wasn't great. 01, the defense was just okay. So there's always some kind of, there's some variance there. But with free agency now, by and large, your window's short on defense. If you get a great quarterback, your window's longer. So what this allows you to do is while you're developing Bo Nix into a franchise quarterback, this gives you a path to potential success right away. And it also allows Bo Nix to build confidence. And if you've successfully developed him, then next year and the year after, if the defense fades, Bo Nix has risen. It becomes more of an offensive-centric team. Maybe you add more weapons. Maybe you're drafting Luther Burden next year, right? And you're adding somebody in there who can add some a dynamic element to the offense. We'll see.
Ashton Genty.
I'm not drafting a running back early. Sorry.
Not even in the late first. This team's going to be picking around 18.
When I say late first on the running back, I mean like 28.
Well, I would say this, and my comparison to him, early swipe, is Jonathan Taylor. Taylor should have been picked in the first round.
Well, yeah, like 32. The Chiefs should have taken him.
Yeah.
Like, that's like as great as the Chiefs have been, Jonathan Taylor was sitting there for them to take, and they took Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They got too
unstoppable.
They got too cute. I remember having a sigh of relief from the Broncos' perspective when they didn't pick JT. But 18's too high for a running back for me. Like if you're talking about running back there, I'm like trade down.
That type of back, I would take it. That's a debate for another time, man. So what else are we talking about today, baby? What are we doing? What are we doing? Late show. I stopped drinking caffeine at 6. I drink a lot of caffeine. A lot. What happened to Cecil? Oh, heart blew up. Drinking caffeine all the time.
Oh, I've got the caffeine.
Caffeine free, so you get the taste.
Yes,
right?
I got the caffeine free right here.
The great taste.
You know what you used to be able to get, but you can't really anymore is a caffeine-free Mountain Dew. Now that had a real interesting effect on me because I guess my system was used to the caffeine buzz that came with a Diet Mountain Dew. So when I'd have a caffeine-free Diet Mountain Dew, I'd be asleep within 30 minutes. Man, that stuff was better than Sominex.
There you go. There you go. John says Elway said you have to be great on one side and good on the other.
Well, were the Broncos good on offense in 2015? I'd say they were average.
Very much so. Yeah.
I think, now that being said, a lot went right for that 2015 team. A lot broke right.
Oh yeah.
They drew an inside straight, for all intents and purposes.
Yep. And they had to beat the Chargers, or else they weren't going to be the number 1 seed.
Yeah. There are a lot of ways you can win, as they said when they were celebrating after winning Super Bowl 50. The problem was they tried to do it that way the following year. Nope. No.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. All right. We'll get more into Raiders week. Again, we've got our Saturday pregame show. We have Friday, a special throwback jersey show, because we were talking to players about it today.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. They love it.
They really love the throwbacks.
Wait till you hear what guys said. Wait till you hear.
I was having a conversation with someone in the Broncos organization, and before we went on the air, and I said those guys just lit up when I asked them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Looking
They're
good,
excited.
Feeling good.
Yeah. Oh, that logo. It's the look, we saw that logo on a white helmet last year. We saw it on a navy helmet for the last few years, but seeing it on that legacy blue is what they're calling it. I'm still calling it Academy Blue, because that's go back to the 70s. You see it in the media guides, Academy Blue. But man, it looks good. Like I saw, they had the Guardian caps on today at practice, so you didn't see it. But then you saw a couple of the helmets just on the hooks in the locker room, and it's for this old soul. It warmed the soul.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited. Believe it or not, I missed the last game wearing these uniforms because I was not yet working for the Broncos in 2001. So I missed the 2001 Thanksgiving game in Dallas. This is the first time I'll cover the Broncos wearing this uniform template. Oh, I'm so excited. This is going to be fun.
We did tell Adam Troutman that we're old enough to remember when they played in those. Not that long ago, but still.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, we get it done. We get it done on this program. A cheers to you. Let the boy watch. Still one of my favorite clips. Anyway, Mace, before we're out of here, man alive, we really appreciate the love on YouTube. So let's keep that up. Let's keep it going. I'll see Mace in the comments. You'll see me in the comments. You see all you guys in the comments. So we appreciate that. If you've commented in the chat room, make sure to comment down below. But Mace, how else can folks help us out?
Like,
comment,
share,
subscribe,
hit that notification bell
so that you
never miss a vid. I should have done it with a belt buckle. I'll do it tomorrow.
I'll do it, and I'll be wearing the belt buckle, so I'll just swing my hips like Forrest Gump said Elvis did when he
swinging my hips.
He was swinging his hips. Yeah, that's right. He's Andrew Mason. You follow him on all the socials at Mace Denver. I'm at Cecil Lammey saying OBT's BFD. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned and stay frosty.